actually, somebody asked, should you have pen and paper? I would have pen and paper, because you might want to take a couple notes on some of the things that I share. A lot is in the guidebook. I don't know if people have read their guidebooks. I really encourage people. I know sometimes when I get new decks, I get so excited. I skip the guidebook until, I've played with the deck a little bit, and then I go back and read the guidebook. But the guidebook's very, very helpful for you to connect to the energy of the deck, even though we're going to go through a lot of the guidebook today, but it will help you really get to understand the intention of the deck and to really connect with it even more, okay? All right, so I'm going to get started. If people come on after, everybody can hear me, correct? If you have background noise, I recommend muting yourself. If you don't have background noise, you don't have to mute yourself. Please type in any questions you have, comments, and if you do want to ask a question or make a comment, make sure you unmute yourself. You just have to hit that little, sometimes if I can't hear you, I'll click on the icon that says ask to unmute. But if you can remember to unmute yourself, you can see on everybody's screen that there's a little microphone that you can unmute. Okay. So we're at the beginning, we're going to, first of all, I'm so grateful that you all have your decks. I'm so thankful, especially those that were on the 40-day journey, and you took the 40-day journey and you went through the whole journey in the process with me. You're going to find, those of you that took the 40-day journey, that there's some different cards in the deck that weren't on the 40-day journey. And that's because, like, towards the end, as I got into the evolution of doing the art and the creativity part and the colors, and I'll tell you a little bit more about how I did that a couple of the cards I'm like, oh, I need to redo this. And so a couple of them, I may have redid a couple things, and some of them I totally redid. So don't be surprised when you're going through the deck, like if you were on the 40-day journey, I've never seen this card before. So I want to thank all of you for your patience and really being that support behind the scenes during the 40-day journey, because it's really how I created the deck. And I'm just so grateful. I know a lot of you will be watching the replay on this. This is really a bonus gift to all of you, because I'm so grateful, and I really want you to get the most out of your deck. So let's start by centering. And when you use your deck, if you're using your deck for yourself or for others, I really recommend just doing a centering. So I'm going to kind of share a couple ways. There's also, I wrote a prayer in the guidebook on page 6. You can absolutely use that prayer. It's a very powerful prayer. It's similar to the prayer that I use to facilitate my readings for myself and others. It's a little bit shorter, only because I had to adjust everything in the guidebook so it fit. So one thing, and it's so, this image on the front of the card is, it was really interesting picking the image, but I was going in between this one and the one that, actually I picked this one on Facebook Live a couple times. I debated doing this one as well, but I'm really, really happy with what I chose, because this card is really what I recommend doing when you connect with your soul. And I do this before every reading, or soul portrait or soul session. Sometimes, you know, it's virtual, so you don't see me doing it if you work privately with me. But I do this when I connect with my own soul. So your soul star chakra is right above your head. And what I recommend doing is just bringing your hands into prayer position. This is going to center all of us in oneness with our soul, but it's also, we're going to go into the soul group energy, all those that are here, and we'll listen to the replay. We want to include everyone in joining one, because we are one big soul. If we unzip these human costumes, we would see that we're all one light, one connection, one soul. And so it's a very simple way and a very quick way to go into alignment with your soul. So what you do is you put your hands in prayer position and you just take a deep breath, and just as you inhale, reach up to your soul star chakra right above your head and turn your palms out. And as you exhale, just surround yourself. This is all about intention, and ask your soul to come into alignment and to move into the oneness of your soul. And this is the Ace star chakra, which is your soul star chakra. So you're going into the oneness of your soul, into the wisdom and connection, and also into your Akashic records, your soul records, okay? And so what we're going to do is, after we do that, take a nice deep breath in, and let's join in oneness with our group energy. And so just surround the whole group with the intention, and we're working in the sacredness and the oneness of the soul. We're here to support each other, to share, to guide, to heal together, to really awaken in the oneness of the soul. And so let's just start with prayer. I'm going to ask you to take a nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, let go of everything that happened before you came to the session today. Just let it go. Use your breath to let it go. And then take another nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, let go of everything that's going to happen after our session today. And you can do this same thing when you're working with your deck. It's in your guidebook, this prayer. I'm not saying it word for word, and just breathe into the present moment. Breathe into the peace of being here now and taking the sacred time for yourself. When we work in the present moment, that's where we're going to really receive in oneness with our soul, because our soul knows everything about us, past, present, and future, but our soul doesn't live in the past. It doesn't live in the future. Our soul is very, very present in the moment with us. And when we return to that present moment, we can really enhance our connection and communication with our soul. So you don't have to, but I like inviting our angels, guides, masters, teachers of the highest vibration of light as we work in oneness with our soul. Let's expand and work in oneness with our divine team. It's all love. It's all the highest vibration of love and light. Feel your divine family of many create a beautiful circle of light, love, healing, peace, and protection around you. Let's ask for the highest vibration of love, light, and grace to move through all of us today for our highest and greatest good. Let's ask that each and every one of us connect with our soul deck. And let's ask the soul to work through the cards, because they're spiritual tools. That's what they are. Let's ask, and you can hold your deck in your hand, and just ask your soul in oneness to work through the deck for your highest and greatest good, and the highest and greatest good of all, better than you could ever imagine. Just share with your soul that you're open to receive wisdom, guidance, healing, truth, direction, clarity. And trust that your soul knows your highest and best. It knows everything about you, past, present, and future. It knows exactly how to guide you. And together, let's say, and so it is.
And so it is.
So let me explain that. And I saw my sister is on here today. And so when, when we were together, I think before, or when I was working on my soul deck, I was thinking about the back of the cards. And she was my contributor, that she said, you know what, Karen, you always say, and so it is. Why not put that on the back of the cards? And I have to tell you, I absolutely love that. But know that that intention going on the back of the cards is almost as if we are saying together, and with the energy of the soul deck, and we are affirming that our soul is going to give us the intention of the card and bring us our highest and best, better than we could imagine. When we say, and so it is, we believe in oneness with our soul as if it's already done. We have that unconditional trust, unconditional faith. And it's really in that affirmation, it's almost saying, this is already done, and I believe that to be so. Okay. So let me just share a little bit about the deck, or what I feel I want to share about this deck. First of all, I have been wanting to make my own deck for probably about 15 to 20 years. I have used so many decks. I started out with Doreen Virtue's decks. I love Alana Fairchild's decks. I have all different types of decks. John Holland is the only psychic tarot deck I work with. I'm not as drawn to tarot, working with traditional tarot, but I really like John, and he's a friend and colleague of mine, and I love the energy of that deck. So I've been using that, and Tony Carmine Salerno's Angel, God, and Goddess deck for years to do readings. And it's really important to connect with your deck. And I hope you connect with this deck and it becomes a go-to deck for you. But after working with so many decks over so many years, not only for myself, but having, group energy and clients and, big auditoriums pick cards, I really have had a lot of learning and experience and education to discern what makes a good deck. And for those of you that know me, and I have pretty high standards, and I really pride myself in integrity and quality and really giving the most to what I create. So that absolutely went in this deck. But I had been saying to the universe and all my teams, I've been saying for the longest time, could you please send me the artist? Even Rita Berkowitz, who was a big part of this deck for me, she's a spirit artist, a medium, a reverend. She's just a very spiritual, she's a dear friend of mine. And we started at one time creating an angel deck where she was doing the angel portraits, and then I was going to be doing the messages. And it just, sometimes it's a matter of divine timing, sometimes it's a matter of things coming together, but it never came together. So, and the universe never sent me the artist. And then, I went to Syracuse University. Originally, I went because I wanted to get into interior design, but the pathway at Syracuse University was you had to spend 1.5 years in the fine arts school. And, I was creative and everything, but to go into new drawing and figure drawing classes and all these fine art classes, I just lost all my confidence. And after 1.5 years, I'm like, I got to get out of here. I was just overwhelmed. So how when you lose your confidence and everything, you just close the door, right? So I closed the door. I got creative in different ways, but never in my art. And then Rita Berkowitz, she was like, we started swapping pastel lessons she wanted to do some sessions, and I'm like, okay. And I had no idea how it was going to go, but I started to really like it and start to enjoy it. And then one day she said to me, we did some intuitive stuff, which was fun, and I was really good at it with art and illustration. And then she showed me this app one day. It was it's called Procreate. And she's like, oh, I just found this. She literally had not looked at the app. And she goes, I said, oh, I'm going to download it. And then, I'd also been doing a lot of spiritual inner journeying and everything. And I was just in this, we were cocooned in from the coronavirus. And I had this opportunity to really play. So I started to work with the app, and all of a sudden I started to do soul portraits. I felt like, oh, I can do this. And actually, my sister and Karen on the video, they were my, guinea pigs, and I did some trial ones. And then before you knew it, 2 weeks, I took off with the soul portraits, and I loved it. I loved it. I could combine my soul work with creativity and readings, and it was awesome. And I still do soul portraits. I love every single bit of it. And then I really got connected to this app, and basically I remember going to another journey, or somebody planted the seed. When they saw my soul portraits, they said, you've got your oracle cards right here. And I'm like, oh. So then I launched the 40-day journey, and then I said, I'm going to commit. And I had no idea how I was going to create 40 cards in 40 days, right? And Louis looked at me and it's like, I don't know what you've gotten yourself into, but you're not only going to be writing a 40-day journey, but you're going to be drawing a card. Are you kidding me? And I got to tell you, that's how my soul works. That's just what happens. So when I start to work, and I was also getting into Orosoma. Orosoma is a color therapy. It's really cool stuff. Anyways, that was part of it. It's all about color and working with the energy of color. And this deck, I wanted that color to really come into the deck. The color, I really sat with my soul and channeled the messages and wrote the messages for the 40-day journey, which I would highly recommend if anybody wants to do the 40-day journey. That's a great journey to do with the deck. I'll send you guys the link and everything. But I wanted the images to be visual, that they would connect with the messages, but also give you messages when you are using the deck. Now, some of the illustrations are total freehand. For example, the creativity one is one of my favorite ones. And that was total, just coming from source freehand. Some of them I would just start with just, like a silhouette, and then I'd create everything around that. Some of them, like this one, because you have to buy a licensed image. So I bought the image, but then I colored into it and I brought light into it. So some of them are, purchased license, but I always drew or colored into or added to it, added water, images, and it's so funny because Rita, she really was, her and Mary, I really dedicated the forward to, because, and my husband, because Rita really, I would send her the image and she'd say, okay, because Rita's, if any of you know Rita, she's very honest up front, but that's what I needed. And she'd be like, oh, perfect, awesome, or trash it, or she'd be like, add this, add that. And so I really, by the end of creating a deck, I felt very proud, happy, and complete with the whole deck by the end. And again, some of you that were on the 40-day journey, you're going to see a couple of the images change. So there's, in the image itself, there's so much intention, there's feeling. So when you work with your cards, pay attention to what you feel when you look at the card. That comes into your reading. What do I feel when I look at this card? What is the message at the bottom? Now, you're going to see I did not put numbers on the card. This was very intentional. I did not want to put numbers. I didn't feel called to it. The best way to find your cards in the guidebook, it's all at alphabetical order. And I do this if I feel called and Spirit says during a reading, read them the guidebook. I go to the beginning, I look, it's alphabetical, and I go to the page. That's how you use it. If you start to try and find it like this, it takes you a lot longer. So I recommend use the contents. It's the easiest way to find your cards. And, you know, some people, like I showed John Holland the deck. He actually bought 4 decks. And I showed him the deck and I'm like, he's like, what about the numbers? And I said, John, I didn't want to put numbers on my cards. You know, that just, it wasn't the way that my soul and spirit guided me to create the cards. Now, when you use your cards, there's no upside down, right side up. How many of you have been taught that way? Anybody? So some oracle messengers, they say if you pick the card right side up, it's, you know, some of them say it's positive, and if you pick it this way, it's challenging. These are not, there's no intention. So just read them, you know, put them right side up and no upside down, you know, there's nothing in that. So, okay. There are 40 cards in the deck. Now, most oracle cards are 50 to 54. I am creating my oracle decks because I'm going to keep doing these in conjunction with 40-day journeys. Now, you don't have to do the 40-day journey to use this deck. Absolutely not. I have put forth, I think 4 or 5 40-day journeys. What would love do? A 40-day affair with yourself, surrender and trust, oneness with freedom, and my oracle card. So 5, okay? And 40 days is about spiritual transformation. 40 days is a spiritual practice. It's about breaking down the ego, okay? And it's about creating transformation and alignment, enlightenment with your soul. That's why I do 40-day journeys. So if you want to use, this is one way you can use the deck. And I actually did this with Alana Fairchild's, her Heaven on Earth deck. I actually did this as a spiritual journey, and I picked one card at a time, and then I worked with her books too. And I contacted her, I told her this is like the best way to do this. But it took me like 3 months, right? So I had a practice and I said, oh my God, I want to make my deck like that. So what you would do if you want to do a 40-day journey, and know that if you do a 40-day journey with your soul is committed to you and you're committed to your soul. So basically what I would encourage you to do is, if you decide to do a 40-day journey, is pick one card a day. And you can journal with your card. You can, you know, work with the questions that are in the guidebook, and then put that card aside and keep picking from your deck until you complete all 40 days, all 40 cards. So you just simply put one, you know, maybe put it in the other one side of the box and then keep the others in the other side box. So much fun. And what happens, and those of you that have done my 40-day journeys, you get this. What happens is your soul's going to give you exactly what you need that day at that time in your life. And coincidences and synchronicities are absolutely going to happen when you work in this energy of a 40-day journey in the oneness of your soul. So that is one way you can, and this is what's unique about this deck. I don't know of any other deck that does that right now. And I pride myself in doing something unique with things that I do. So that's one way you can work with your deck. Now, you know, people ask, how some of you might have the question, do I need to, you know, bless my deck? Do I need to, can I let other people touch my deck? You know, that is a very personal thing. Personally, I have a deck that I use in public, and then I have a deck that I use for my self and for private clients, right? So, but I let other people touch my deck. That's not a big deal to me, because the intention is there that I'm using the deck in connection for another person's highest and best, for my highest and best. So I really don't feel that, if you got background noise, make sure you mute yourself. I really don't feel like that's, but if that works for you, then trust. That's your thing. If you don't want other people to touch your deck, that's just, I believe in love and oneness. So now, what you can do before you use your deck, or even when you are right before you're shuffling your deck, you can hold your deck and you can just ask your soul, please, you know, work in oneness. Show me my highest and best, better than I could ever imagine. I do believe saying some type of prayer or intention before you do your readings. I really suggest that only because it centers you and it puts you into the right or the highest energy intention to work with your deck, okay? Any questions about that? Any questions? You can unmute yourself if you have any questions about that.
Hey, Karen, I just had a quick question if you could clarify. You were talking about how you didn't put the numbers on the deck, but then you can, what was an alphabetical?
Well,
order?
in the guidebook, right?
Yeah.
On page, right at the beginning, the contents, it's all in alphabetical order. So let's say you pick a card and you want to read the guidebook. That's the best way, is just to open up to the contents and, you know, go by alphabetical order. And that's how you're going to find your message in the guidebook. Some other guidebooks, some other guidebooks and cards, they put the number and then you just go to the number.
Right, exactly. I see it. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions about, now, let me talk about the other big piece about this deck. So these, at the bottom, you're going to see an invitation. I call it inquiry, or inviting your soul to support you, to guide you, to help you. So each one of these questions on the bottom of the cards is really asking your soul. It's it's going to help you with interpretation of your readings, but it's really like, this is send support my way and gift me with healing. These are invitations for your soul to work in oneness with you. That's my pure intention in this deck, is for you to, one, connect and communicate with your soul and receive higher guidance. Two is to teach you. And that's why I recommend, using your intuition with the deck, but sometimes going to the guidebook, because it's going to teach you the difference between the play of the ego and the dance of the soul. Okay. It's very different to be guided by your ego and to be guided by your soul. Your soul is love. Your soul is the highest vibration of love and light. Your ego is your history. It's your beliefs. It's your personality, it's your programming, it'll guide you in your life, and we need an ego. But to live a soul guided life is it's the way to go, guys. You know, I wouldn't go any other way. And sometimes the deck is to teach you, because sometimes we're not aware when we're choosing to make decisions, and it's so unconscious because it's so ingrained that we're not even aware that we're walking or choosing from the ego versus the soul. So the deck in the guidebook is to teach you the difference so you can choose, because that's our greatest gift, free will and free choice. But if you don't have awareness, like this is, many of you that take classes with me, I have my ACHA, A-C-A, ACHA. The first A is awareness. The C is about choice. And the last A is about action, inspired action. It's kind of like, I kind of played off aha moment. This is an acha moment. So awareness is such a gift. That's the greatest gift, because sometimes we're not even aware that we may be choosing from our ego or our history or our unconscious. And when we work with the soul deck, and all of a sudden you're reading the guidebook and I'm teaching you the difference between the ego and the soul, you'll have those aha moments. And then what the deck is going to help you is to choose, to have the awareness that you have a choice. I can choose worry and fear, or I can choose faith and trust. And that awareness is going to help you take action in a different way. So I can't tell you how much intention is like permeated in this deck. Even working through the 40-day journey, that energy is all in this deck. Even though all the words aren't in the guidebook, the energy is in the deck. So like, for example, help me to let go. These are invitations for your soul to guide and show you, what do I need to know about my relationships? Help me believe anything is possible. So every single card has an invitation that you're asking the soul to guide you through, to show you through, to help you through. The one, have you guys seen the one, show me the money? Now, mind you, I have asked almost every single one of these questions, so I know how powerful they are. So, you know, the questions are really important. Now, the other thing is the guidebook. You know, it's interesting. Some oracle decks have guidebooks, some don't. Well, I got to tell you that I respect what anybody chooses, but I really wanted to create a guidebook. And if, you know, if I maybe in time, I would love to even include a bigger guidebook, but again, I had to figure out costs, and it ended up coming up more than I wanted to, but it's fine that everything works out in the end. So the guidebook is your teacher. Now, you don't need a guidebook. Okay, this is when I teach my angel messenger certification. I encourage my students when they're doing readings to work with the guidebook at the beginning, but then you really want to get to know your deck. If you want to do readings, some of you will be able to just do readings that have done readings for a long time. You'll just be able to do it off the images and the words. I saw Dottie Grant Cohen ended up doing a Facebook Live. She did beautifully. And I don't think she read the guidebook yet, but she did beautifully because she was in the oneness with the divine and spirit and asked, what do I need to know? What is the message for this person through these cards? I would encourage you to work with your guidebook a little bit. Get to know your deck. This is the best thing you can do for facilitating readings for yourself and others. So there's nothing wrong with using the guidebook. That's what it's there for. So if you pick a card and you're like, I have no idea what this is about, go read the guidebook, because you'll probably have that aha moment. Oh, well, that's what it's about. But the other thing is to be open, because your soul may communicate something different that's in the guidebook, and trust that. Like it's called a guidebook for a reason. It's not a Bible, okay? Your soul is going to give you the insight and the information you need. So what you can do, if you really want to connect and you want to deepen that connection and communication with your soul, pick a card and ask your soul, what's the message through this card? What do I need to know? Before you go to the guidebook, I always like to journal. That's just my way, but I think it's nice to keep kind of a log of what your messages are and everything. But you can just say, ask your soul, what do I need to know about this card? And sometimes it's going to come from looking at the image. So look at this image on, am I living my life or an expected life? There's a lot in this image, okay? One path is lit up, one path is illuminated by light, one path looks a little bit darker, goes into kind of an unknown. And when you look at that card before looking at the guidebook, what does your soul tell you about it? And your soul may have a very specific message for you. And then you look at the guidebook and you say, oh my God, that had nothing to do with what's in the guidebook. Don't take, if the message feels right for you, then trust it. You might get more when you go through the guidebook. I mean, this is what happens when I do readings for people, individual readings, I literally channel messages without cards or anything. I let the divine speak. And this would be the same way for you not looking at the guidebook. You look at the card, you pick a card, you just get what comes through to you. And then what I do in my readings is I then pick cards. And when I pick the cards, like I know the cards, okay? I've worked with them religiously, that I know them. I know the deck, I know the cards. And the cards may validate what came through channeling or opening up and listening and sharing or writing. It may add to it. So for those of you that are more experienced and really want to start opening up that dialogue and that openness with your soul, I would encourage you to work that way and let the guidebook either validate or open you up to another thought, or maybe it doesn't connect. Maybe your message connects with you more. Those of you that are newbies, okay, I would probably pick a card and use your guidebook at the beginning. And then after you get to know your deck, then you can be a little bit more open and free and exploring and asking questions to your soul, because these aren't the only questions you can ask to your soul. I hope this prompts you to ask more and more questions to your soul to know that you can get the answer. The answer isn't from me, the answer is inside of you. This is just a pointer to help you get the answers for yourself. Questions about that? Any questions about that? Okay. So somebody said, these cards are helping me set the tone of a new work every day. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so how do you do, let me just see if there's anything else in the, that I want to mention. Okay, let's talk about picking cards, okay? And again, if you guys have questions, oh, anybody asking a question? Mary, did you want to ask a question? Mary Lynch? You're unmuted.
No, I just was typing that I loved what you just said there, Karen. And part of what I love about all your teaching and classes is how empowering you are. You know, so many of us spend time looking outside of ourselves for the answers and not taking that quiet, peaceful time to go within. And I just,
Yeah.
the answer isn't from me. The answer is inside of you.
Yeah. These
Everybody.
are just tools to get there. This is just a tool to get there. The colors, the images, the questions, they're all tools to get there. Because I don't, you know, your power shouldn't be in me giving it to you. Your power is inside of you waiting to be awakened. That's what I hope this deck awakens your soul to a whole nother level, right? So any other questions before we go forward? So, you know, these cards that I have to tell you, you know, some of you, I had to order a sample deck to make sure that I'm big on quality. I'm big on, and I know these are $29.99 right now, but you know what? I'm not making my usual margin, but I want the quality of these cards and I want to keep them under 30. They came in a little higher, but I couldn't compromise. Even I have another deck over there that they sent another kind of card and it's $2 less cost. And it kind of looks the same, but Louie and I weighed it and then I played it with it and I'm like, I can't, this is high quality and this is going to withstand shuffling and everything. The one thing I do notice is, you know, sometimes I see my little fingerprints on them, but that's not a big deal. But they shuffle so nice. And, you know, like Karen said, you got to get used to shuffling, but they, you know, you just start, you can shuffle or you can, you know, I can't do the one where you like separate them and then flip through them. Yeah, that's just not me. So I shuffle my deck. Sometimes what I do, let's say I've been working with clients and everything, or somebody else has been using my deck, or there's a lot of people using my deck. I'll take a little piece of sage like this, right? And I'll just light the little piece of sage. And sometimes I'll run it through my energy. Actually, I do this every morning before my meditation. I run it in through my sacred space. Sometimes I run it over my cards and just clear the deck. That's as simple as that. Or you can just ask Archangel Michael, please clear my deck. Bring it back to the highest vibration of love and light. So, you know, it really is a good feel to shuffle your deck. So when you're picking cards, let's do just a one card reading, okay? And I'm going to do readings for the group energy today. I'm going to ask for cards to be revealed for the group energy. Now, if you're using the cards on your own, obviously, there's a couple things that you can do. You can keep shuffling. This is what some people do. Some people keep shuffling until one card, I'm going to do it right now. So I'm going to ask, what's a card to bring to the group? And so let's say one card gets stuck in your hand. So that's what happens. So I'll keep shuffling until one holds or freezes in my hand. That's one way to do it. This is the card. I love this card. What dream do I dare say? Ooh, this is a very powerful card. So I want everybody to think right now, what dream do they dare say? This card is in oneness with your soul. Maybe you wouldn't share this dream with anybody else, but this is a very powerful intention. And this, if you can see on the side of the card, it's breaking through a wall of limitation and putting that energy and light out into the universe to send that dream out. I just love this card, okay? So what dream do I dare say? I swear to God, when I pick this card, I'm like, oh, I want to think clearly. I get a little nervous because it's really putting a big dream out to the universe. I have to tell you, one of the most amazing things for me, and I still say it to Louie every so often, and I still am, how do I say, it's surreal for me, but to think that this deck, and this is, I want to encourage all of you. I'm just an example of what can happen, but this deck was a thought. It was a dream. It was something I always wanted, right? A thought, a dream, but it was a thought. It was an intention. And it's so crazy for me to be on this with all of you. You've got, like, I couldn't wait till everybody had their decks in their hands. But when I opened my first deck, I was like, I can't believe this manifestation went from a thought to a visual creation, to a writing creation, to this. It's crazy. But we all have that within us. Do we listen to it? Do we follow it? So this to me was a big dream that went from a thought into physical manifestation. That's what we're here for, everyone. That's the power of the soul. We came to create. We came to visionary. We came to be a visionary. We came to move through all the challenges that, occurred along the process. Meredith, did you have a question? Oh, I just muted you. You'll have to unmute yourself again. Your hand was raised. Do you have a question?
No, Karen, no, I was just going to say, every time I choose a card, it's so in tune and I'm surprised, but I've never seen that tip of like shuffle and then see which one is like singled out.
Right.
But I was doing that and one like flew out of the deck and it flipped over and it landed on the floor, like one deck. And it was exactly what I need. So I don't know. I'm always amazed when I use this deck, but that was like a really good tip too. So I thank you for that, because I've never done that with the deck before.
Yeah, that's one way. And the other way is to always pay everybody. I teach all these things in my Angel Messenger class. Definitely pay attention to cards that drop out. You do not just put them back in your deck. I mean, take it, 5 drop off, then, well, you dropped a bunch of cards. But if one, flips out and drops on the floor, you better pay attention, okay? So that's a way. Now, the other way is, what you can do, there's a couple other ways. What you can do is ask your soul, show me what I need to know. It's like opening a book to a random page. So you can open the deck and say, okay, that's my card for the day. Okay. Or what I tend to do, and this deck, what I've realized, sometimes it doesn't matter if your deck is all going in the same direction. With this deck, especially when I do readings for other people, I like the cards going in one direction because it really helps me to visually choose in connection to my soul. So what I'm saying, so let's do this. Fan your cards out on the table, okay? I could show you, but I guess I can show you. I don't know if you can see it. Mine are fanned. So just like fan them out. So it's almost like this deck is, I got to tell you, I have other decks that I have to separate the cards. This deck, you do not have to do this. You just have to kind of spread them out. Now, let's do 2 different ways of picking a card for the day. The first way I'm going to show you is just breathe into oneness with your soul and ask your soul. We already opened up to the soul energy. Just let's go with the question. Ask your soul, what do I need to know today? And then I want you to just scan visually. So you're using clairvoyance right now. Visually scan your deck and ask your soul, what do I need to know? Which card is, and then I want you to just trust and see what card visually stands out for you. Okay, if you guys want to show me your cards. Oh, Karen, I picked the same card. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so after you pick that card, if you feel, use your own intuition. If you feel like you want to sit with it and ask your soul, what do you want to say to me about this card? So what you could go to your journal and you can say, ask your soul, what do I need to know about this card today? And just write down anything that comes to you. Now, let's work with my card. And I'm going to look at my card and say, ooh, what do I need? So what may come to me as I look at my card, ask your soul. Now, just ironically, I picked this card, but this is the wild card in the deck. This is the only wild card. If I was to show you what the wild card is and probably the highest card in the deck, I'll show you those two cards, okay? This is a wild card. What does a wild card mean? I gave you instructions in your guidebook. A wild card means that this is the opportunity to really ask your soul a question, ask anything you want, but also when you pick this card, I would pick another card in relationship to this card. So I'm going to pick another card. I'm going to ask my soul, what do you want to clarify through this card about asking my soul? Show me the money. Okay, so I'll get a little bit more clarity, and my soul really wants me to invite whatever I need financially or in abundance to support me. Okay, so you can go from picking your card to writing about it, to reading your guidebook. Okay, those are a couple ways you can work with the cards. Now, shuffle your deck again. I'm going to have you play with one more. Shuffle the deck and then spread them out. And I'm going to have you take your receiving hand, your left hand. It doesn't matter left, right, but I'm going to say, let's receive. I want you to scan your hand over the deck and ask your soul to stop you when you feel like some people feel temperature changes. Some people just feel, oh, a little staticky, or they feel, oh, I got to stop there. And then just feel your way to your card. Same type of thing. Ask your soul, what do I need to know? If you want, you can show your card. Forgiveness. Who am I? Ask your soul. Beautiful.
Oh, this is a good one.
Okay. So those are, those are quite a few ways that you can pick your card. Now, you would do the same thing if you were, it was so cute. My son's girlfriend, she got her deck and she had some friends over and they picked cards and everything like that. You can do the exact same thing if you want other people to pick cards with you. Just say, you guide them, say, ask your soul. Now, you can ask a specific question. You don't have to just say, ask your soul, what do I need to know today? That's a great one. But you can also ask a specific question. What do I need to know about? Okay, so everybody think of a question you want your soul to guide you on. Donna, that's funny. I picked the same card again. If you pick the same card for yourself, it keeps coming up. Your soul is trying to get you a message, right? Your soul is trying to get through to you about something. Don't ignore it. And also, if you pick cards in group and people pick, that tells you about the group energy. If there's repetitive cards in the group energy, like when I do, group sessions and people pick the same card over, when I do the Gifts of the Blessed Mother, I do 20 readings, and it's fascinating for me to see repetitive cards during the night. So I know that the group energy, there's a theme in the group energy. So when you fan your cards out, ask your specific question. What do I need to know? Or could you ask your soul, show me clarity or guidance about, and then pick your card. Okay. I didn't ask a question, but I just picked. So that then you could write about it, or if it doesn't make sense to you, I really don't feel, I tell my students this, I don't feel like there's, how many times have you picked a card and you're like, I don't like that one, I'm putting it back in the deck. I'm like, wait, right? Sue in meditation class, people like, no, and I'm like, oh no, you got to keep that card because sometimes, you know, it's the ego's resistance or doesn't want to hear the message, but sometimes you won't even know what a card means. How many times have you picked a card, right? And you're like, I have no idea why I picked this card. But then 3 days later, 5 days later, you have an experience and you're like, oh my God, I know why I picked that card. I've had that happen. I'm telling you, it's crazy. So really do not feel there's any cards of mistake. There may be a divine timing of the card. Like even when I do readings with other people, I can't tell you in 20 something years how many times I've given a message and they're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. It doesn't make sense. And the next time I see them, oh my God, I can't believe a week later, a month later, exactly what you said, not what I said, what they said happened and they were prepared for it. So sometimes the soul is giving you an advance message to prepare you for something that's coming. So you remember when it does happen, you have that guidance and that awareness. Okay. So you can ask specific questions. Now, in your guidebook, starting on page 8, I gave you different spreads to do and play with. The first one is a past, present, future spread. Now, for those of you that are on Facebook and YouTube, or you can go to my website on the freebie page, on the video page, I always post my 444 videos that I do through Facebook Live. And quite often I do this spread and I always do it in my personal one-on-one readings. I always do a past, present, future spread. So let's do that right now, okay? So shuffle your cards. And I'm going to ask you to just take a breath, go back into your center, into that connection. You can feel it in your heart. It's not in your head, it's in your heart. And you can say to your soul, show me what I need to know about my past. Pick a card. Visually, feeling, being, you just like, that's it. Present. Future. Now, so Donna Marie, I'm just going to randomly choose you, okay? Can you unmute yourself? Okay. All right. So, just, can you show me your first card for past?
What do I really, really want?
Okay. And what's your present card?
Show me the money.
Oh, so show me the future card.
Oh, is it time to make a move?
Have you moved yet?
Not yet.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. So as you look, so everyone, why do we do past, present, future? Well, because it's not to hang out in the past. It's not to hang out in future. It's really to receive your highest and best in the present moment. Okay. And so it's really about what do you need to know about the future for your present, and what do you need to know about the past for your present. So Donna Marie, I would ask you, if I was doing a reading for you, I would say, you've been probably contemplating, just tell me if this is right, but you've been probably reflecting, what do I want? You've been trying to make decisions and get clear about what you want, what you really want. Well, if you go to the guidebook about that, that card, I do this questioning in every soul entrainment private session that I do with people, and in group sessions, I do the same thing. I ask people to take a deep breath, and this card is to prompt you to do exactly what I do with people, and ask yourself, first of all, what do you want? And then you answer that with the first thing that comes to you. And then I ask, what do you really want? You answer that, what do you really want? And usually it gets you really clear about what you want. But because it's in your past, I'm really sensing that that's something you've been contemplating. What do I really want? And your present card it's about believing that the universe is abundant. That's why the trees have money on it. It's falling off, and the message in the cards, it's really about, Belinda, I'll get to you in a minute about your question. It's really about believing that you will have the money and the abundance or the resources or whatever you need to give you what you really, really want. And then the future card is, that's going to help you make a move through the next doorway. Right. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
So remember, it's not the past cards are really, thank you, Donna Marie, for that. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
The past card is really to give you clarity about the present, and so is the future. How can you live your present moment the best you can, again, for your highest and best, better than you could ever imagine, and in alignment with your soul. Okay, so that's a very, you're going to use a past, present, future spread when you want clarity about what's going on in your life right now, or, some insight about what do you need to be mindful of. If you're stuck in the past, it's going to give you what you need to heal, or to be more open to the present, and to move forward. And the future is always about, what are the possibilities? What's the potential? Okay, then your second, any questions about that? Belinda, it's Belinda, the forgiveness card. Well, you literally look on the card, and I don't have the card in front of me, so I don't know the question, but you would literally look at the first word and say, okay, here it is. What do I need? So what is W? So you look under what, and it's right there. What do I need to forgive to be free? So remember, it's alphabetical, okay?
Okay, my
Okay.
card says who. I thought it was a person. It says who, not what on my card. But that's okay.
Well, wait a minute, hold on. Oh my God, a typo.
Leave it to me to find it. Oh dear.
Well, that's all right. I'm going into, oh my God, that's so, thank you. And if anybody sees any other, let me know. But because I'm going to be reprinting 100 of them, so I can do that. Oh my God, thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Wow. See, you never know, but I'm open to, if you guys notice stuff like that. Okay. That's what happens when I thought I'm so sick of this guidebook by the time I finished editing. I must've gone through it 100 times, but it's humanness. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next spread is Now, these are the most common questions that people want to know about their life and they ask in readings. So the first card is, again, you would pick with intention. You'd say, I'm going to do a 4-card spread about these different aspects of my life. If you guys have been to my Facebook Live, I've done this spread. The first one is about relationships. Now, I specifically put in here, that could be about your relationship with your soul. It could be about your relationship with another. It could be about your relationship with yourself. So that's a really good one to get more specific on specific areas of your life. The second one is about career, but it could also be about finances, life purpose. Money comes up in that one too. Health and well-being. What do you need to know about your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being? These are all really important questions to guide us in our life. And the other card is a question of your choice. So what does that mean? You can just say, you know what? I want clarity about this situation in my life. Or what do I need to know about, this trip I'm thinking of to Alaska, whatever. I mean, you can ask anything. That gives you room to ask any other question. And again, that can be a very helpful and guiding reading in your life. Now, the next one, the 7-card spread, this one's fun to do. Just like literally say, I'm going to try this one and see what happens. You pick according to on the next page. So you're going to pick one card. What do I need to know about past influences? What do I need to know about my present situation? Or just pick cards and then ask your soul to guide you, and then go back and follow the guide to what each of those cards is bringing clarity about. Okay, so it's just getting more and more detailed and specific. And then I included a chakra balancing reading. That's fun because the cards are filled with color, energy, and tension that I really wanted to have fun and include that in the reading. So there's 4 different readings you can play with, as well as picking individual cards. Any questions? Any questions about any of it?
You're
That
right on. You're really, really right on. Thank you.
Okay, anything that you've always wondered about working with decks, this is the time to ask. Anything? No? Does anybody want to share what it was like for you to open your deck, and if you've been working with them? Can I hear that? Just, that's a little bit selfish, but I'd love to hear. Anybody want to share anything?
Your cards are amazing.
Who's
It's
it?
very good, very good. I love it. I love
Okay.
it.
Hi, Karen, it's Elena.
Yeah, Elena.
When I opened my deck, before I even flip through it, I do my first card because that's what I was drawn to do. And it was spot on. And then I don't even know how to explain it, but the energy of the deck, and even right now, I feel incredibly connected to it. Like more than any other deck that I have.
This is true.
Wow.
Not just saying that either.
I'm telling you, I've been using them. I use them every day for myself, and I feel it. But that was the intention going into this deck, that this energy, especially because it was over the 40 days and it was in the writing and teachings of everything else in the 40-day journey. I really knew this deck was going to have a lot of energy. So I'm so excited you felt it, really.
Yeah, for sure. It's pretty great. And this class is really good too. Because
Good.
I don't know about anybody else, but sometimes we're left to our own devices to just try and figure it out.
Well, yeah. I mean, so I've been, I've really been teaching this for years in my Angel Messenger certification, teaching other people how to facilitate readings and how to work with the energy of divine guidance and their soul. So it's really, this is pretty, it's what I do. So
Yeah.
That's why I knew that this deck was going to be really powerful, because it's years and years of experience and intention of working with so many decks. I knew what a good deck was going to be, you know?
Yeah, I think that's a better word, but I use the word energy, but when you say powerful, I feel like that's more appropriate.
Yeah.
Felt very powerful. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Anyone else before we sign off? Anyone else?
Karen, it's Julie.
Yeah, okay. Where are you?
So with my readings, I found a couple of the cards had dual meanings. And
Okay.
one of them was really interesting. I had show me all that joy is, and the girl's jumping up with her hands in the air.
Yeah.
And I had pulled 4 cards, and all the cards resonated, but she said that first card, I had said she was jumping up for joy because everything is right and everything's going well. And she said, no, it's not. Everything else you got in the reading was perfect, but I'm not really that happy, even though you think I am. And I said, well, then fine. Maybe it's a different message. Maybe you're reaching up to the sky, looking for assistance and looking for help. And she let out a scream. She said, oh my God, my mom passed away. Her name is Joy. I always look up to the sky and ask for help. And she said, now it makes sense because all the other cards were about decision making.
Wow. And that's what you got to let unfold with everything. That's perfect. And that stuff happens to me all the time in readings. Be open to how that flows through. That is so beautiful. Wow.
And then in the other girl, I did a reading with the tug of war with the help me let go.
Yeah.
I was talking about letting go. I said, but maybe at this point in time, you've melded it together, and that's power of like energy in the middle, and it's pulling the rope together to meld it back together as one. She said, that's what it is.
Wow. And some of the cards, like when you mentioned that letting go, some of the cards, in the guidebook, I literally say, look at the center of the card, and ask yourself, what is that you want to break free from? So some of the cards, it's using the visuals. Remember I said the highest card in the deck? This is the highest card in the deck. Show me all that love is. This was day 40 on the 40-day journey. This is kind of like the enlightenment card. This is what a beautiful prayer. Show me all that love is. Boy, that's a powerful invitation, because it's just, if you feel it. But that's the highest card in the deck. I consider it the highest card in the deck. Anything else? Any other sharings? Any other questions? Sue, go ahead.
Well, Karen, I was part of the journey. I've done so much with you over the years.
Wow. You
And
picked so many cards with me too.
I know. And so I love it all. And I even posted the picture. They came, I didn't even take the bands off of the cards. I lifted them up and I just put my hand in and I took a card and I posted a picture. This is the card. I get this card every day.
You do? Wow.
Yes. And for the last 4 days, I've also gotten Help Me to Choose Wisely.
Yeah.
I got that one. Yeah.
And it's like this, Light the Way.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy to be here with you. Congratulations for all the work you've done and all the years, all that you've given, and it all comes back to you, tenfold. You're a beautiful light and spirit, and you just keep giving it. And I can't thank you enough for everything that you do for everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's been really amazing. I can't believe it. Sometimes I can't even believe it, but I really want this to support people. I know how important it is to align to your soul, and I know how important it is to learn the difference. So I just hope it really helps a lot of people, and it just spreads wherever it's meant to go. I mean, it's really, I was holding on tight with, and I had to put it in the center of the universe and just say, it's yours. This is wherever this goes, however it's meant to serve, it's now in the hands, I've done my part, but hopefully, it'll just keep supporting people on their journey.
Well, it's so good to see this come to fruition, and no one deserves it more than you. I'm so
Thank you.
happy
Thank
that
you.
you've seen your dream come true.
I know,
So-
thank you. So I can't wait to do
Blessings.
my next one. I think my next one is surrender and trust, because I feel like that's so important right now. So we'll see. After the first of the year, I'm telling you, I have to say, I love writing, but I had so much joy creating these cards. It was such a beautiful expansion of my own soul to dive back into creativity and art. It really expanded me to a whole nother level. It's, you know, this is all about putting your love out into the world. So if you guys have a dream, don't be afraid to do it, because, you know, the whole universe is going to support you. I can't, you know, I can't tell you how it was grace how this all unfolded. And it was time to do it. So thank you, everyone. So listen, if you ever have any questions, keep sharing, you know, in your deck. I hope you guys saw, you know, I only have about, I think I have like 15 decks left, but I ordered another 100. They said it's going to be here like around the 1st of December, hopefully, but you have a 10% off coupon in your thing if you want to use that to do stocking stuffers or give it to gifts to anyone. Please use that, and you know, just have fun with it. Really, I know your soul's going to help you. Just have fun, really enjoy it. All right, if you ever have any questions, send me a note. And if you guys, I forgot to say, by December 1st, I did put this in the email, and I know some of you have done it, and I've already put your names in the drawing, but I'm going to give away a free soul reading if you send a testimonial of working with your cards, or post it on Facebook or Instagram. Just, you know, just use like, you just put that it's the Ask Your Soul Oracle deck by Karen Paolino. But if you guys send a testimonial reading, I'll put your name in the drawing, and I'm going to pick somebody on December 1st. But getting your testimonials really, I'll put it on my website. It really helps me to spread the word about the deck too. All right. All right, everyone. Well, listen, thank you, and enjoy, have fun. Join me on Facebook Live or YouTube. I do readings every week using the deck, so you can learn that way too.
Thank you,
Okay,
Karen.
Thank you,
All
Karen.
right, good
Thank you.
night.
Good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so
Night.
much.
Happy
Thank you,
Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Enjoy your trip.
Okay.
Blessings, everyone.
Thank you.
That was great. Great. I'm so happy.
And thank you for, you know, I know, you know, to think about it, Sue, I mean, all those times we sat in, you know, meditation and pick cards. Oh my God, you know, and
Yep.
it's really surreal to have my own now.
I love
know.
it.
It's
I know.
fantastic.
Thank you so much, Karen. It's just there. When I opened my deck, I wasn't sure how to use these, but I'm so glad that you talked about it, because
Oh yeah, because I definitely want you to use them. Absolutely.
yes. And even though this card says, "Who do I forgive? Who do I need to forgive to be free?" It
Yeah.
actually says that in the guidebook. It does say, if you go to that card, it does say, "Who do I need to forgive to be
Yeah, it's just in the contents, right?
Yeah, the contents is a little,
Yeah, that's all right. That's an easy change I can make.
yeah, that's an easy fix. I just wanted to make sure that I
Oh, I'm
clarified.
so glad you did, because I would have never noticed it. I don't think I would have.
Well, hey, it came up for me, so.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Thank
All right, good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
you. Great to see your face, my dear.